So the trade deadline happened and a lot of things occurred, and there's quite a few trades for us to talk about. I think this is the biggest thing right now is this D'Lo Wiggins trade. I'm gonna start with Wiggins on the Warriors and then do another one for D'Lo on the Wolves. Clearly the Warriors believe that D'Angelo Russell is not as good of a potential fit with Steph, Clay, and Draymond than Wiggins could be, with the idea of Wiggins as the wing who can play in that kind of Harrison Barnes role where he doesn't have to focus so much on doing much with the ball. It's going to be catch and shoot threes, finishing plays, running fast breaks, catching Draymond alley-oops, and attacking closeouts and that sort of thing, and making obvious passes to open shooters. We'll get to the picks as well, because those are interesting, but I do want to talk about just Wiggins' fit on this team. I mean, the idea is Wiggins walks into this situation where it's a lot more stable than Minnesota. The talent is a lot better, the coaching is better, the infrastructure is there, and they can just plug Wiggins into that. And because there's such a high expectation for winning and doing the right thing on every single possession and playing hard defensively and making the right pass, even for someone like Wiggins, that it will unlock what he can be, which we would envision Wiggins as a guy who, we'll say on this Warriors team, can be an efficient, high-teens scorer and a great defensive player, or at least a very good one. You know, who can defend a few positions and have some block shots out of nowhere or grab rebounds, because Wiggins is apparently extremely athletic. It's not like he shows it at all besides random dunks on Rudy Gobert from like 2 years ago. But you'd think he could use that to his advantage, especially on this Warriors team. Do I think it's going to work? No clue. Not at all. I mean, I think at a certain point, a guy is just simply not good, but this is such a drastic change from everything Wiggins has been up to this point that it could happen. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to see this until next year, so for now, it's going to be Wiggins on a bad team, so it might just look as ugly as it always did, but the hope is next season, of course. Now, even then, with Wiggins, it's like he's coached by Steve Kerr, so we could see some immediate something where it's kind of clear from how he plays and how they use him over the next however many games are left in the season, that could be an early sign of what they plan for him in the future. Because while we can all obviously be like, well, they see him as, again, Harrison Barnes type of guy, potentially even Iguodala type of guy, we'll wait and see. There could be other things. I mean, this team needs ball handling. Maybe they envision Wiggins doing that at least somewhat. The Wolves experimented with that, and occasionally Wiggins would show off some interesting passing, mainly earlier this season, and it kind of tapered off since. But again, maybe they believe that they can unlock something in Wiggins that is brewing, and maybe. Now, the other thing is, are they going to be able to make Wiggins stay awake for the entire game? Again, because Steph, Clay, Steve Kerr, the assistant coaches, and Draymond care so much about winning that it'll just kind of force Wiggins to wake up all the time. Because, I mean, Draymond will let you know when you're not bringing it, okay? I mean, Draymond has been animated multiple times this season, and the Warriors are terrible. So what do you think he's going to be like when the expectation is, for them at least, that they can go back to the finals? I mean, Draymond is not going to put up with Wiggins getting lazy on a backdoor cut. He's not going to put up with Wiggins being a second late on a wide open pass to Klay Thompson or whatever. So we're going to have to see how Wiggins responds to that. I mean, it kind of happened to him already with Jimmy Butler, and Wiggins had the 2 worst seasons of his career with Jimmy as his teammate. If we talk about Wiggins shooting, I think he's got potential to be a good catch-and-shoot guy on wide-open threes. I mean, if I look at his actual catch-and-shoot numbers, this year he's shooting 36% on 3.5 catch-and-shoot threes a game. Last year it's basically the same thing, so Okay, that's something, and we assume he's going to get more wide open looks than he ever has on this Warriors team. His career is 33% from outside on 3.5 a game, which overall is mediocre. His free throw shooting continues to be, well, actually worse than when he entered the league, which that's a little alarming. So, yeah, I mean, again, like the Warriors, they're trying to take a guy who has shown little improvement in 6 seasons outside of a couple of games to start this year, and they're trying to turn him into a guy who can really be awesome for them. And you know what? Because the Warriors are a smart organization who have done so many things right over the years, I'm willing to believe that they see something in him that the rest of us either don't or just simply don't believe can actually happen. So there you go. I mean, we're really going to find out with Wiggins now, right? Like, if you had any reservations about how good Wiggins actually is, you're going to find out. And again, it's not really, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen the second half of this year, but it's definitely going to happen next year and beyond. Now let's get to this draft pick. And this proves just how gutsy the Wolves were. Top 3 protected in 2021 and unprotected in 2022. There is a doomsday scenario where the Wolves lose out on the 6th pick next year if they don't have almost an immediate turnaround starting next season. And or they finish bottom 3. Well, the lottery is very random, so there's a chance they're like not the worst team in the league, but they still get one of those picks. But they still wouldn't be good, and then the next year they just don't get their pick at all, and they still haven't gotten that much better. I mean, we're going to have to see D'Lo, Towns, and whatever the Wolves do to build around those two, they could nail the draft picks they still have. That's a whole nother video. But Golden State has gotten themselves a hell of a pick, and if Minnesota doesn't turn it around almost immediately, the Warriors could be looking at a hell of a draft thing soon here. I mean, they could trade their pick and that Wolves pick this offseason for something really good. Whether that means Wiggins gets moved again or they would put Pascal in a move, I don't know. I mean, who really knows what Wiggins' market would be if the Warriors then look to move him, but if you attach those picks to him, then you could get something really good. As far as what would be available, no clue, but that all matters. There's also a chance that the Warriors use those draft picks and they draft 2 very good players who are going to be on their team for a long time. They still have Pascal, of course, so Golden State, they're very proactive in their transition period right here, you know? Like, some teams would just kind of be like, well, Durant's gone, we'll figure this out, whereas the Warriors, they saw this coming ahead of time, and that's usually what keeps you good. It'll just have to be seen if Wiggins was the right choice. But again, we're not really going to find out until after this season, unless he just goes nuts right when he shows up in Golden State, and maybe that's possible. Am I going to be watching the Wiggins bad Warriors games? No. I'll look at some stats and I'll see what other people are saying and I'll take their word for it depending on who they are. But I'm probably not going to be sitting down and watching 2.5 hours of Andrew Wiggins on the currently worst team in the league or close to it Warriors. But next season will be very exciting. So that's it. Wiggins, Warriors, D'Lo, first of many trade deadline videos coming at you.